Good morning, good afternoon, happy Thursday, LinkedIn friends, HubSpot Nation, here for another episode of Let's Build a HubSpot Super Admin with Lucy Abal. How you doing, Lucy?
Hi, Chris. Great. How are you?
I am doing wonderful, I'll say, but it would be nice to go one day without talking about email. I'll say that.
Yeah.
But a recent update, two things happened. We're going to talk today about email complexity inside of HubSpot right now and how people struggle with which one to use when, where are you in the portal? Like, do I need to have marketing context? Do I have subscription types, transactional, all that stuff. And this has come to mind. Two specific things have happened over the past like week and a half for me. And as we build out profoundly, we've got this marketplace. We've already decided that we want the unified view of the customer in HubSpot, of course, but a lot of the marketplace transactional, that stuff is not really, meant for HubSpot in a lot of cases. In general, you rely on those apps. Like Shopify is probably the easiest example to think about for the transactional emails that need to happen whenever things happen, when the people check out, people have invoices, things like that. So that came up and caused some confusion in a conversation. And then earlier this week, a new update dropped, which said we can now set up email surveys using workflows with Service Hub only, which is a big change because that's often comes up when we say, okay, we got access to workflows. Now we can do some emails. And it's like, well, not unless you have Marketing Hub, right? So this just convergence of, we've already got a bunch of transactional emails happening for anybody that uses Commerce Hub and any of that tool set. Sequences and sales emails coming into workflows. There's just been a ton of confusion. So I'm happy to finally chat with you so you can clear this up for me.
Yeah. So I think that the first thing that we need to clarify is that it's okay if you feel confused about this. I think most of HubSpot users at some point encounter this confusion. And I think one of the reasons is because HubSpot is a overgrowing platform. And sometimes when platforms grow exponentially as HubSpot is growing, some things or some parts doesn't quite fit. And we start seeing like kind of Frankenstein's things that work in a way from one hub that it doesn't work for the same way in another hub. So that's normal. And I hope that someone in HubSpot is listening to us today so that they can consider the things that we're saying to optimize the product. But I think that we need to clarify the different types of emails that we have in the platform. So the most common and obvious ones are the marketing emails. Of course, they have always been, and they still are part of Marketing Hub. Then there you can have the simple emails or the automated emails that are the ones that we use in automations, in workflows. So this is one of the first hubs that HubSpot actually developed. So it's normal that all of these features, emails and automation and workflows, are all associated to Marketing Hub. But then the tool grew, and then we had Sales Hub. So we have sales emails that are the ones one-on-one emails. But those emails, or the ones that we use in sequences that are like emails, those are emails that we don't need to have Marketing Hub. We don't need to have someone mark as a marketing contact. We don't need subscription type for that. We have one, but we don't need to use it as in the marketing subscription type way. So those are other types of emails. So we can always send that, even though if we have marketing contacts or not. Another type of emails that you mentioned is the transactional emails. And let me just be clear with this. You've always had transactional emails in HubSpot. There's a lot of transactional emails already embedded inside HubSpot that you might not know. For example, email reminders. Email reminders is one of the first examples that you just tick one thing in HubSpot, but there's a whole automation and a transactional email going on the back that either you or the person that is coming to the meeting with you get 1 hour before the meeting, for example. So those are transactional emails. It's just that you don't set it up, right? It's already embedded inside HubSpot. Other example could be when you send an invoice or when you receive a payment. So there are automatic emails that are sent. So those are the ones that you don't need marketing to do that. You don't need marketing emails to do that. And you don't need the transactional email add-on to do that. Also with surveys, so far until now, when you build a survey and you define the criteria to send that survey, it's an automation that is going in the back. Every time that you close a ticket, the CSAT or any survey is sent, right? Those are automated emails. We can say that they could be transactional emails. Yes, they could be, notifying you that the ticket has been closed or resolved. So you've always had transactional emails. But what is the transactional email add-on for? So whenever you want to use in a different way transactional emails, because of the purpose of your business, not of the purpose that you have in HubSpot, of your business, then you will need to do transactional emails to do whatever you need to do that is different from what already is going on with HubSpot. What do I mean with that? For example, the best scenario that we all have encountered anytime in our lives is when you use an app, right? The first transactional emails that you get is that, hey, you have just logged in or signed up for this app. Hey, this is the renewal, or your payment is upcoming in the next week, or your renewal is coming in 2 weeks. All of those are transactional emails. Or when you haven't finished setting up your profile, you get maybe a transactional email. So all those type of emails that specifically any app developer or software company needs to use, those are specific of their own business, meaning these are not contemplated in how HubSpot normally works, right? So in those cases, you will need to have transactional emails. So what is the difference maybe between this type of transactional emails and the traditional emails? The first thing is that they have a separated and different subscription type. That is not the one for the traditional emails, the marketing emails or the one-on-one emails, right? And people cannot unsubscribe for that. Why? Because it is supposed to be a transactional email, something, a notification that your clients need to receive and that they shouldn't be unsubscribed for. The best example is, if I'm going to have my renewal of my contract next week, I would like to know just to agree if I want to renew or not, right? If I don't get that notification because I have unsubscribed from your marketing emails, I'm never going to know that. So in that case, you should have transactional emails, right? The other thing is that they have a separate set of permits so that not everyone in the team could access and create those types of transactional emails. Again, why? So that the marketing team or someone that is creating teams for any marketing campaign doesn't get confused and create a transactional email. So you can choose to manage different permissions there. So I think the question is not, or maybe the confusion is not so at the technical level of the tool, because in the end, we end up using the same tools in HubSpot. These transactional emails that you get with the add-on, you still create them from the marketing email part. It's just that it has a different subscription type, but it's just in the same tool. It's not that we get access to a different tool. No, we get access to different options, but not a different tool. So it's not a technical question, it's more about a strategical question. Why should we use traditional marketing emails? Why should we rely on automatic emails that come from the platform? And why should we create transactional emails, right?
Yeah. And I think like another element that's shown up is seats. And again, I'm experiencing this in new portals where you're trying to manage. So largely up to now, it's been about managing like marketing contacts effectively, right? If you're not marketing to people, but they still need a lot of email, they still need these other emails. Transactional also often plays a role there in helping bridge that gap. And almost everything else is trying to empower the one-to-one emails to happen, from records or from somebody's email inbox. But now with the seats and the way that they're separating between core seats and sales and service, like a lot of the other one-to-one situations, like let's say sequences or just emailing direct from a record, rely on email templates, where if you do not have any paid account, they treat it like free. And at free, you only get 5 templates. So it's been interesting to see, like, even if you can pull it into these other places of the portal, that's when we start to understand, like, and again, we come back to, like, if you start with a clear understanding and strategy of who's using HubSpot, what are they trying to accomplish, it tells you very much more easily that these people need seats, these people don't. But even I'm starting to find these spots where HubSpot's getting a lot better at separating, paid versus not paid, because they have to, or else the paid seats wouldn't mean anything. But it creates these new kind of obstacles where it's more important than ever to understand the differences between when emails are going out of HubSpot and why. So that said, it's also heartening to see them start to expand things like customer feedback surveys that can now be in workflows and be managed from workflows, instead of having to, do some pretty sophisticated workarounds sometimes to make sure they're triggering right from the Service Hub tools or from the feedback survey tools themselves. Have you run into the seats challenges very much yet?
Well, so not all clients have been already migrated into the seats model, but yeah, I can understand what you say, that because so as the new free seat is no longer existing, it's just going to be a view seat. So everyone that is going to be working in the CRM should have either core seat or sales or service hub seats. But again, yeah, of course, you always depend on the templates, but that's okay, I think, because why should someone access templates if they're not going to be doing either sales or service hub functions, right? So I think that HubSpot makes those decisions on purpose, just to clarify what people in the team are going to be doing. But I still see a big problem about how tools are connected to hubs, because what we're usually teaching the Super Admins Bootcamp is that, yes, you can use automations for everything. You can use them for marketing. You can use them for sales. You can use them for Service Hub. Yeah, fantastic. But mainly you get most of the automation options are attached to Marketing Hub. And the best example is what we're saying. Transactional emails is still an add-on for Marketing Hub. And it shouldn't, because I'm very lucky because I have clients that in general have the whole suite of products in HubSpot. But I can understand that someone could have only Sales Hub and Service Hub. They're not doing their marketing actions in HubSpot, and they cannot have the add-on. I have encountered that problem. Why? Because it's an add-on for Marketing Hub. So add-ons are still super attached to specific hubs when they shouldn't. So I think that HubSpot should review that. And also, I don't believe that transactional emails should depend on marketing status. I think that transactional emails should depend on the amount of transactional emails that you send by month, maybe. But I don't care if it's a marketing contact or not, and it shouldn't depend on that, because I can have a client that is no as marketing contact status, yes, and I should be able to send them a transactional email either way because it's something important. So I think that there's still some things that they don't get like in the puzzle, right? But again, is something, there are still some bugs and some things that should be reviewed in development on the HubSpot side. But well, ideally, I think it should work differently. Any add-on could be or should be added on to any hub. And let's imagine, for example, if I'm doing ads, but I'm not doing anything else from marketing, shouldn't I be able to connect my ads directly to my sales hub? Why should I have the ads add-on only for marketing? So I think that we will get there. It takes some time because it takes time for HubSpot to restructure how hubs are connected and how the add-ons are developed, right? It's not that they don't want to, because people think that they don't want to do that. It's part of the business. Yeah, of course, it's part of the business. But I think it's because of how the tool grows and how the products were developed. But at some point, I think that we'll get there. And right now, I think that we do have more flexibility from Sales Hub to do a lot of automations that at the beginning we didn't have. We only had the small automations in the pipelines, and the same thing in Service Hub. At some point, we can only send the automated emails with the survey after maybe a ticket was closed, and that's it. We couldn't do anything else. So I think that right now, each hub is getting more independence. I think automations are arriving in a more robust way to each hub. So emails are like becoming a little blur between all of the hubs. And hopefully, I think emails will get out of marketing, because it's not only a marketing function, right? It's not only a tool that should be used for marketing.
Right.
Any type of email, not only surveys.
Yeah. Since you say it like that, it's almost like there just should be like a communication like layer of HubSpot, maybe, because like I think the challenge becomes like because I think it's important to try and define, like come up with these simplified, like very black and white definitions of these tools that we're trying to use. And I think marketing email, once you get to customer marketing, right, it becomes very hard, at least for the system. That's so many of these rules are like, what's your intent? Like, and if we can prove good intent, then now we comply, right? And an example is like, if you have a product installed that you purchased, is the upgrade to that product, right? Is that something that we just want to upsell and that's why we tell you about it? Or it's integral to you getting support for that product in the future? Like one is very transactional and one is marketing. And it could look like the exact same email though, right?
But that definition is strategical. It's not technical or tactical from the tool. And I think that is where people, they try to do, no, let's just do something transactional, but let's just try to sell them something, but let's just try to tell the promo here. So the moment that we confuse all the purposes and goals of our communications, that is the moment that you get messed up, right? So if you don't have a clear plan and roadmap or journey of what you want to do with your leads, with your customers, with whatever type of contact that you have with CRM, that is the problem. It's not a tool problem. It's a strategic problem, right?
Well, let's talk about it real quick, because I like this technical support. It's basically like these proactive technical bulletins. Sometimes companies will call them, like, here's the updates that have been made to your product that we need you to be aware of. It's almost like the HubSpot, like once a week product updates that we can get now.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's a fine line between that. Now, if we all have the traditional definition, which I believe in for marketing, it's any two-way communication between the business and its targeted audience, targeted customers. So I think that should go across the journey. But I think where people get stuck is like, hey, I need to tell the customers about this thing, about this update, right? And this is where if I don't have Marketing Hub and I'm trying to accomplish that as a business, and it's not even customer marketing for me, it's necessary communication with my customer. That's where I get confused or get frustrated when you tell me I need a different set of tools or to invest in Marketing Hub to be able to communicate with my customers at scale, right? And that's where I think like an easy way to solve for that, like you mentioned, is like if transactional email or some kind of like automated email package was available outside of Marketing Hub that like immediately solves the problem. Because we don't want to try and like there's a ton of value in being able to automate that stuff at scale. That's mainly the reason why you upgrade HubSpot, right? So it's not like we're trying to get around the value that HubSpot has built. It's just that's where people get, you know, they do what they're going to do when it comes to, all these things that have understandably been attached to marketing because that was the original package. That was the original reason you go to HubSpot. But now when we're in Reddit threads and all these places where it's like, if they tell you, if somebody talks about the need to automate or upgrade HubSpot, they always give one price and it's based on the cost of Marketing Hub, right? And that's where with the seats model, there's lots of opportunity to get some automated and some increased, some improved tool sets without going that route. And that's where even I got in trouble in the past of saying, oh, this will give you access to workflows. But then we have these marketing, oh, you can't do that yet with the seats. So it's good to see, like, this is inevitable. This is the growing pains from Marketing Hub to customer platform. So I think like I appreciated you at the beginning saying like, give yourself permission out there to understand that it's not so easy sometimes. But if you can speak up about when and why it's not so easy, there's lots of people that are wanting to understand this because it can be very use case dependent, right? From business to business, from industry to industry. And that's where it's a challenge for HubSpot. And that's why they need the partner ecosystem to be able to translate. Okay, in this business, it makes sense. In this business, it doesn't. How do we deal with that as a community?
Yeah, and I think just I wanted to say one last thing about transactional emails that I remembered is I don't remember who said this. I think it was in an inbound talk. But someone says the difference with transactional emails is that you shouldn't expect a change in behavior because of this email. So it is a transactional, it is a system notification, and there shouldn't be a call to action expected from this. And if you see most of the emails that are transactional, the address they come from is a no reply, meaning I don't want you to reply to this. I don't need you to reply to this. I don't expect you to do anything from this. So I think, although we can agree or disagree with that, and there could be some great examples that we can discuss, I think it's a great measurement to say, okay, from the moment that you're expecting someone to do or click on a call to action and go do something, upgrade or cross-sell or just, I think in that moment, it becomes a marketing email. So, and it really helps because I used to have a client that used to say, I want to invite people to our event. Okay, is that marketing or is that transactional? Well, she said, it is a marketing campaign because it's our global year event, but I don't want my customers to miss the invitation to the event because they haven't subscribed for all my marketing emails. So the dilemma was real. Should it be a transactional email or should it be a marketing email? So there are cases where the reply is not so clear. When I cannot say, oh no, it should only be a marketing email. Yeah, it's an event. So you should send it as an event to all your leads. But maybe for your customers, this is a transactional email, right? So again, there's a lot of dependencies on this. So There's a lot of conditioning depending on your business. So there is nothing is written in stone. Nobody says that you cannot choose transactional emails for this. You shouldn't. But in the end, as I say to all my clients, in the end, do what you want to do. I'm just an advisor here. I'm just going to advise you what is best for you, for your business, for your reputation. Then it's up to you to do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Just have in mind that everything that we do, it affects our reputation to our customers, to our leads. So the good thing about handling two different subdomains or addresses with transactional emails and marketing emails is that they shouldn't be affected the same way. So at least we diversify the risk there, right? But
Yeah.
coming back to the seed model, yeah, I know that the new change with seed model is still very unclear for everyone. It has touched a nerve for a lot of users. I have a client now that has more than 100 marketing team members because they're a big publisher. So, and I don't know what to say, how they're going to be migrated. I hope that HubSpot respect all of those 100 users as core users. But then what I'm going to be doing with the client is, okay, so let's just sit down and see what are they really doing. Are they really doing marketing actions? Or are they really doing sales actions? Because they're all marketing, it's a big marketing team, but they all work in a pipeline. So are they marketing or are they sales? Should they have a sales seat or should they have a core seat?
That's a great
again, but
yeah.
it depends again on what you need to do. It's not a problem of the tool, it's how you structure your business and your processes, and then how we need to. Of course, if we could change how many things HubSpot is sold, I think that we would be in heaven. But so far, we cannot. We can only recommend and hope to be heard. But right now, HubSpot, it is changing the model. I know that it might not be the best model. I think, in my opinion, the best way would be to go into a 100% use fee would be the best case for HubSpot. If I send marketing emails, I just want to be charged for the marketing emails. If I do transactional emails, just to be charged for that. If I do, I don't know, ads for that. So that would be a better use. And I think that they would actually have higher revenue. But because so far we feel so constricted, and so we still, even though HubSpot tells you not to think about hubs, all the tools are still attached to hubs.
Yeah.
So I think that we have there the marketing strategy. The marketing team in HubSpot has gone way creative, but the tool, the product, still doesn't meet that expectation. So
yeah,
we still have to navigate those waters. I think it's getting there. It will change eventually.
Yeah. I think
well,
AI is going to help a lot with this. And I'm sure they're learning a lot when they integrate things like ChatGPT, that people are going to be able to manage usage, like either like related to their ChatGPT account. Because a lot of the AI models either have like the $20 pro subscription, or you can manage directly through APIs and stuff like that, and all the developers have access. And in almost every case, I think every case, it's usage based, right? And I think a lot of what's probably holding back HubSpot from going to this, like, it's very hard to fit the hubs into any of the diagrams that they create right now, because it just naturally segregates thing in an unnatural way. And I think
yes.
a lot of that is because there's a certain pricing model and business model in place. They can't just say, okay, no more marketing hub licenses, because that would just wreck like their revenue immediately. And so hopefully AI can help say, all right, this is the time when this is what needs to happen in the system. This is when it makes sense to start to transition people. Because we already seen, like, this is where, until very recently, like with Seats, but also Breeze Intelligence, that is a credit-based um, uh, cost model that had not existed to my knowledge, right? So we're starting to see these different ways to pay for the value of HubSpot. So they're definitely working hard, but that's over, and everything has been so centralized around revenue related to Marketing Hub. I can imagine it's not easy to just say, okay, although I would like, just give me workflows and Content Hub Enterprise. Like, why don't it makes no sense?
But if you take a look at, so first, marketing is still considered the hub most sold by HubSpot. It's still considered the hub most sold. And if you take a look at the tools, it's still the hub, or at least in the menu, is the option in the menu that has more things, more tools attached inside. And if you take a look at most of the AI options or tools that you have now, most of them are marketing related. So even though I love Breeze and AI, you still encounter the same problem. So I have another example that I encounter with a client. I have a client that has Marketing Enterprise, but they don't use Sales or Service Hub, right? They just use Marketing Enterprise. So we were talking about the marketing team doing account-based marketing. So we tried to enter the target accounts feature, and imagine what? It's a sales feature. Should it be only a sales feature? Don't you think that marketing teams do ABM too? Don't you think that marketing decides what is the ICP?
It is called
the market that you want to go to. So why buyer intent and all those features are only sales? Should be CRM, should be across all hubs. They are not yet, but they are not. So again, those are the limitations that I think how HubSpot was developed over the years. It still has very high barriers of things that they can implement or they start implementing in one hub, and they cannot migrate or break those walls to go over the other hub. It would mean that they should implement 3 times the same thing. They should. Product team, you should. But right now they're not doing. Right now they're just choosing the best hub that serves that purpose or that I could use that feature, and they implement it there.
Yeah.
So I think we should have patience about this. We should still have creativity and think about workarounds on how to tackle these challenges. I don't think still that the seats model is going to change this, because the seats model was still thought over this old or this current structure on how HubSpot works, that it's still different hubs.
Right.
So maybe we should wait until what comes next, what comes after the seats implementation, because maybe we're just seeing only one step back, but HubSpot is always thinking ahead. So I think that they already know what is going to be the next step. Maybe we don't know yet.
No, we hope so.
But
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm sure like there's just a whole heap of change coming. I mean, with agents inevitably on the way, or already on the way, but even agent building, like agent.ai, we know stuff that Dharmesh starts to build eventually makes its way into HubSpot. That was the first inbound email we all got this year, was mentioning about agents. So get ready for that. And as that, it just completely changes that we use the way that we use HubSpot. And it's going to be interesting to see, what transpires over the next year or so. But we'll continue to help try to make sense of all the noise and all the confusion. And so keep sharing your feedback. I know the team loves it. It's really what helps them give us, the best product at the planet, no matter how much confusion we say that there is. Oh man, if you hadn't had the pleasure of using other systems, you've got it really, really good. But that's why we're here, sharing the story. And thank you so much for helping us understand emails a little bit better today, Lucy.
You're welcome. And I think that any veteran HubSpot user like us will really know and understand how the tool has changed. So we are really blessed on how it has evolved. Of course, we still have some things that we don't like. We still have some positive feedback to give for the product team. And again, as we always said, I think feedback is the best way to make HubSpot know the things that are not working the way that we expect to be, or how business needed to be. So if people share their feedback, post on the ideas forum in the community, talk to us, to you, Chris, to me, send us messages, whatever, everything helps so that the product team actually considers these things and make the improvements and the changes needed, right?
Yeah. So if you haven't lately, or if your sales team or service team has been drawing attention to some email confusion, take a look at your email strategy, your email process, find those opportunities, and let's grow. Have a great day, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.